Thanks very much for everyone for coming. I am humbled by the people that are here, and I understand a lot of people couldn't turn up today at such short notice. And yeah, it's lovely to see so many people here in support for me. As I understand it, the councillors are in the building up there and still coming in at the moment. All I want to hear is them say to me that they're going to talk to me and tell me, trying to make some sense of my dismissal. My dismissal was unfair, it was wrong in all counts. There's no need for the raid that the heavy harm come down on me, speaking harshly and being involved in a video that really and truly has been totally snowballed out of control. Now, I've seen it on Facebook, I've seen it on Twitter, I've seen even councillors even speaking about it on there. I've said to every single person who wants to know the truth, all they've got to do is ask me. And when the truth does come out, the people that didn't come in support for me, I'm not going to forget. And I'm hoping that the union, who's standing by me, can I just say, if you ain't in a union, the one union you need to be in is the GMB. They've helped me through thick and thin through this whole entire rubbish that they've put me through. And if it wasn't for Helen ain't here at the moment, Helen Purcell, I don't know where I'd been. Because although I have a big, massive network of family behind me and friends, I think when people don't want to listen to you and there is an injustice, it can really hurt. And it can affect you in ways that I never thought were possible. So I can only say thank you to all of you for being here. And as I understand it, there's a few other people who want to do a few speeches. And yeah, I'm humbled by everything. And I will continue to do what I'm doing and not be scared by something that's been put on me just because they want to cut the head of the snake, which is to try and get the road closures back as open to everyone. But that's not going to happen if we don't stand together. So today we're about me, for once. And I don't mean that in a selfish term. I mean that if this can happen to me, it can happen to anyone who works on the council. Yeah. Because I tell you something, it's coming. It's coming. And all these people that want to stand around and say, oh yeah, don't worry, it'll go away tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it's festering, it's getting worse. So I want these people in this building in here to understand I'm not going away. Because I am strong-willed as much as you've brought me down. And I can't say no more than, please watch this space. Thank you very much.
You must have a very special message. You've got a new council leader at the moment. Have you not got a special message for her?
Oh yeah, I have got a very special message for the new councillor, the new leader of the council, sorry. And the message is, please come and talk to me. Please speak to me and make sense of what's happened here. You are the leader of the council, people do look up to you, and hopefully they will look up to you. Please, all I'm asking for is some sense of the actual punishment you put me through. Thank you very much.
I just want to point out that the fact that Gary was unfairly dismissed, at no point did we ever think it would come to a dismissal. You know, if anybody ever saw the video of what they you know, disciplined him on, it was an absolute joke. Anybody with an ounce of common sense would have just stopped it. They would have turned around and just, probably even just a warning just to say, look, just be mindful of what you're doing and where you're going. You know, I think that would have been the end of it. Gary had even said that he's willing to apologise to the person that was videoed, because that's the type of person he is. He don't want to see people being hurt or feel, you know, threatened or intimidated in any way. That's not him. You know, Gary's fought for people in this borough, whether they be residents, whether they be employees of the council. He's always put himself first. Always, sorry, no, he's put them first, sorry. You know, again, this was an absolute farcical disciplinary. You know, I know that when this complaint first came in, the police looked at it, the there was a member of the council that looked at it and they didn't see anything wrong with it. It was people within the council, the managers, the officers, the directors within the council that pushed to get him out. And I do believe it was a target. It was a target on Gary because of the LTNs. Because of the LTNs and him doing, and again I'll point out, all them LTNs, the demos were all peaceful demonstrations. And Gary complied with everything. The LRC group complied with everything. Risk assessments with the police, just everything. So again, with the council even. So again, to do this to someone and target someone in this way, you know, and push it to the point of calling it gross misconduct, I don't see how that warrants gross misconduct in any way. And like I said, Gary represented people within Islington that have done far worse and managed to keep their job. So again, you know, this is, like I said, this is a support for Gary. You know, we know about the LTNs. You know, we're residents and we're employees. So again, you know, we need to be mindful. Like Gary said, you're not in the union, join the union. You know, I say to the members that are here, you know, we need to get the word out. Because if this can happen to him as a, you know, as a rep, as a member, as an employee of the council, then they're going to target other people. So we have to show strength here. You know what I mean? Because otherwise they will push and keep going. Because we need to have that support. We have to have that support from residents on the LTNs, but we also have to have that support within the council. So yes, I'm going to pass on to some other people. But again, I'll just say, Gary's one of the good ones. You know, he's there for fairness and dignity for anybody. You know, he's a good family man, he's a good personal friend of mine. And I'm glad to call him a friend. Again, I just said, please, if you can get the word out and you can get these people, even talking to your local councillors about it, you know, get them moving. You know, they've been very quiet on everything. But I'm sure now everything's opening up, surgeries will be opening up, and you can go and talk to them personally. You know, this is where we need to push these people, because they've ignored it.
We pay them to do this.
Exactly, we pay them,
I paid them to do
we
this
vote
to
them
me.
in. You know, again, my personal preference is you know, I just felt it was a disgrace that people have ignored this situation. People didn't get involved and stop it from the beginning, because this should not have gone on. This shouldn't have carried on. Anybody with an ounce of common sense would have seen this is farcical, absolute farcical. You know, so please, I just say, can you support, you know, Gary? Yeah. Just to support Gary and this campaign. This campaign, and like I said, this campaign ain't going away unless these people start talking. Like I said, there's the leader stepped down, he's disappeared, you know, he's then pushed himself into another job into City Hall, you know, but he's left it in the lap of the new leader. Now again, all we're asking for is for them people to come and talk to us and, you know, have some common sense and do the right thing by Gary Bolister and reinstate him, give him back his job. Thank you.
I'm just going to give you a couple of messages of solidarity that we've had over a couple of emails over this afternoon. So the first one is all the way from GMB Scotland, which says, GMB Scotland sends solidarity greetings to Gary Bolister and demands his reinstatement at work. All of us in GMB Scotland are behind Gary as his fight. Yours in solidarity, Jim Lennox, GMB Scotland President. So thank you to Jim for that. Gary has already mentioned my colleague, Helen Purcell, who's the officer, GMB officer responsible for Islington. Unfortunately, she can't be here today, but a message from Helen. I'm absolutely gutted that I can't be with you tonight, but want to extend a huge thank you to all of you for your support and solidarity. I know how much it means to Gary. I have represented Gary throughout the proceedings, and I can tell you that categorically the Islington Council have not listened. When Gary was dismissed, I was shocked and disappointed that an employee that, like Gary, could be treated so unjustly after 24 years' service. No compassion or humanity was shown towards him. Frankly, if Islington Council can treat Gary like this, they can do it to anybody. That is why we are taking a stand and campaigning for Gary's reinstatement. Gary's dismissal is not only an injury to him, it's an injury to each and every one of us. The decent, hard-working staff who work for the council, many of whom are GMB members like Gary. Please continue to support the campaign by liking and sharing the Facebook page and the petition, which will be back up and running again soon. Together we can win. Reinstate Gary now. So can I add my own personal words of support? Many of you will know that I was the branch secretary of one of the two Islington branches for many years. I've worked with Gary as a fellow trade union member and a fellow rep for all of those 15 years. Gary was a stalwart of the union and remains a stalwart of the union. It's important that we're here tonight to show our support as residents, as family, as friends, as union colleagues, because if it can happen to Gary, like Helen has said, it can happen to one and every one of us. We have a simple demand. It's reinstate Gary, but in the meantime, if you need to talk about us, talk about that, of how we can achieve that, how we can settle this dispute, our doors are open. Gary has already said his door is open to talk. The GMB as his representatives, our doors are open. Make your mayor tonight, because that's what you're here to do. But as soon as that is done, give me a ring, give my colleagues a ring, give Helen a ring, give Gary a ring, give our regional secretary a ring, and we will come and talk to you, and let's get this resolved. Because Gary has given 24 years service in the council. It doesn't need to end this way. Reclamations. It doesn't need to end this way with us battling. It needs to end this way by us resolving this dispute. So colleagues, go away, as Gary Harris has just said, write to your local councillor, get in touch with them, let's put pressure on them. We can resolve this, and we can resolve this soon. Our door is open. We hope you're listening to us tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Friends, comrades, fellow GMB members, my name's Tony Ward. I'm the Acting Regional Secretary for GMB London Region. I bring messages of support this evening to Gary and his family on behalf of GMB London Regional Committee, our Regional President Penny Robinson, Acting General Secretary Warren Kenny, and many others besides, including our National President Barbara Plant. Many of them wish to be here this evening, but due to other commitments they can't get here. But they will be here again. They will be with us in the future. They will be here supporting Gary in his fight for justice, in his fight to be reinstated by this council. I've known Gary for a number of years. He's a committed shop steward, a committed trade unionist, a long-standing employee of Islington Council. 24 years, colleagues, 24 years, and they've shown him the flipping door. Sorry. He's well known to all of you, and he's known to those in the town hall there. But he is a good man. He is a model citizen of this council, he has got of this borough. He has got every right. He has got every right to protest and to speak on the issue that he is so passionate about. And they've taken that right away from him. He has been sacked. He's been sacked on the most spurious grounds that I've seen in all of my years as a trade union officer and shop steward. From the investigation stage through to the disciplinary hearing and the appeal. Procedural faults and bias tainted that process from start to finish. All of our well-balanced arguments being ignored and overlooked at every stage. And there appears to be some council officers in this borough who are determined to undermine the good industrial relations that have existed with the GMB and other unions over the years. Yeah. It's deteriorated drastically, and it's I've nearly done it again, and it's a bloody disgrace. Well, the damage has been done, colleagues, and we will not stand by. We will not just stand idly by and allow Gary to become just another statistic. Our informal representations, of which we made many, on Gary's behalf, fell on deaf ears. Have faith in the process, we was told. He's not here now. As someone said, he's gone down to the town hall, but you down to City Hall, but you know who I'm talking about. Have faith in the process. We had faith in that process. And what happened? Nothing. Ignored at every stage. The message we received never materialised, and sadly, just another slap in the face for Gary and his family. So the campaign begins now. It begins in earnest. And the campaign is to get Gary reinstated into his job that he's held for so many years. This will be the first of many, many demonstrations and events, all of them legal and lawful. We will use the press, we will use the media, we will seek support from the public, and thank you very much for turning out in such great numbers tonight.
Thank you.
We'll seek support from other trade unions and like-minded politicians. And they better bloody well turn up when we're here next time. We will send motions to trades councils and to other trades councils and other local councils throughout London. We will use the legal system to take on Islington Council in the Employment Tribunal and expose the process for the sham that it was.
Thank you.
And then, and not necessarily in that order, we will ballot our GMB members to take industrial action in support of the disgraceful behaviour of Islington Council. This action was spiteful. Nothing more, nothing less. And Gary, I pledge you the GMB's full support, brother.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Friends, please remember, an injury to one is an injury to us all.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
official capacity, but I would like to say this, that Gary is probably the most honourable man I have ever met in my life. And the union might not say this, but I will say it, he has been persecuted by Islington Council, and we are not going to put up with it. Let's have a little bit of intellectual honesty here, because this isn't just about a single person, an individual. This is about closing down dissenting voices, and that's not what we are going to stand for. As far as LTNs go, low traffic neighbourhoods, the democratic process has been subverted, emergency legislation has been misled, the democracy has been betrayed, and absolutely consultations and equality impact assessments have been overridden, and now they want to close down public dissent, and people who don't agree with them, they want to have their say, they want to impose these policies, but they don't want people to respond, and that we are not putting up with. This man speaks for regular, hard-working people. And if we don't get results tonight, we will be back again and again and again and again. This is an attack on workers, it is an attack on free movement, and we are not going to stand for it. Richard wants is deflecting away from his responsibilities into the area and going to City Hall. Well, before he does that, maybe he wants to calm down and address the travesty of justice that's been made against this man here, my friend Gary Bolister. Gary! Justice for Gary! Justice for Gary! Justice for Gary!
I can't go on after that. I'm going to give it a good try, just to, this is the first of many, as Tony has said, as Sean has said, as Gary has said, and as Vaughan has said. In my opinion, and it's my opinion, I have been persecuted. I have been struck with a target on my back. And just because I believe in something so strongly and passionate about, I'm being now totally overridden. And I say this, and I'll say it with the best integrity. I don't want to be here doing this. I don't want to be doing this. I want to be at home, and I want to go and be watching my telly, spending time with my son. But I can't do that because I know there's an injustice happening to me. And I can only thank everyone here that has actually come out in support for me. And I'll tell you, you don't understand, my lady over there, she's standing there, she knows what I've been through for these last... Yeah, give her a shout, man. In all of this time, she's been my backbone. She has. She's been beside me. And my little boy as well. And the union. And to be honest with you, it's a dark place I was in at the very, very beginning of all this. Because after the loss of all parts of my family, and then having to have to deal with all this, what they sort of like turned out on me. And it will all come to the surface. It will all come to the surface. And when it does, I want these people who've done this to me to be held accountable. I want them to understand. Richard Watts, I'm not going away. Even if you go down to City Hall, I'm not going away. I will come to City Hall and I will bring the people in here, and from Islington people, from Hackney, from everywhere, to scream out your name. Because you've done wrong, and you know you have. You could have sorted this out, we could have had the discussion. But you haven't done it. You haven't done it. You've even tried to override over the top of the union. Now that's a wrong move in my opinion.
Sure is.
Because I've never seen the union. I haven't seen the union come out in such a long time for Islington Council, and that must prove something's gone wrong. Now, something has definitely gone wrong. They either rectify it, or we just carry on doing what we're doing, and we'll keep following you everywhere you go, with respect, not in a threatening way, but we will follow you everywhere you go and shout your name when you're in City Hall trying to give your orders out. And believe me, it's going to come to something. You're going to have to come round the table at one point. You're going to have to. And anyone who's here who I've worked with in the past, I can thank you for turning up. I know there's a couple over there. And there you go. There we are. And I can tell you something. I know how it is to be working for the council. I know how degrading it can be sometimes. And I know that in that building there, I can say so much. But trust me, for 24 years of working there, I've had to deal with people that have been racially abused. I've had to deal with people, with managers, that have tried to get people sacked unlawfully, like myself. And I've won. And there's people in this crowd, I'm not going to point out, that are still undergoing problems from this management and from this council, and it's institutionalised bullying and harassment because it's being allowed to carry on. So, the way I see it, I'm hoping that you understand, as a trade union steward, when I was a trade union steward for the council, let me tell you something. If I ever do get my job back, I will carry on doing what I'm doing. Because I'm passionate, I have pride, and I have integrity. I am there. I am one of the people, I'm one of you lot. I've lived here all my life. All my life. And this can't carry on. So I want to thank you all. I'm going to shut myself up now. I know the police are standing around getting freezing cold. And also you are. And I can only thank the police once again. Because every time I think they've been on some of the demos we've been on before. And they know it's been peaceful. There's been no fighting, there's been no shouting, there's been no abuse, no persecution of people, and they've been absolutely, I'm going to say it in a very, pucker. They've been pucker. They've been the business. So give them a round of applause. And not trying to get something, to be honest. And they've been absolutely excellent. And also I want to say a big thank you to you lot that have come out in support at 7 o'clock to me when you could have been indoors, having your meals, having your time with your family. That is wrong. You have to come out and try and help another individual. Yeah? That is wrong. We shouldn't have to be doing that in this day and age. But it's happening, and I'm the proof in the pudding that is going on. So I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to say to you, thank you very much for coming, and I hope that you come to the next one, because I'm almost certain they're not going to change their mind. Thank you.